Krista! Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? Because you seem a little...
I said I'm fine.
Okay, well, we all love you, so if you need to talk, we're...
She's fine. She's fine.
I'm fine.
Hey everybody. Okay, so have you ever thought about things like, you know what, I kind of suck, or you know what, everybody is better than me, or yeah, those kind of things. Those kind of things. Those are the things. Have you ever thought about that? Have you? Okay, so today I'm doing this book by a friend of mine, actually, Elan Gale, and he wrote this book. So he's a producer on The Bachelor and all of that stuff, and he's super successful in what he does, but he has this really unique theory. Guys, my microphone is all screwed up. Hold on. Stay with me for a second. Okay, that didn't help. I suck. Nah, kidding. So here's the thing. So a friend of mine who is on my podcast, and I will introduce her in a second. She had mentioned maybe doing this book, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to read that. And I got to tell you, because with this show, I'm fine. I do a lot of I talk about all kinds of really super happy things all the time because I genuinely think I'm a happy person. But I wasn't always a happy person. It took a lot of self-helpery, is that a word, to get here? So I really appreciate this book and what it's saying. And for you dark souls out there, dun dun, you're gonna love it. And I loved it too. I'll get into it a little bit more. But I just love what he's saying. Now I'm about to introduce my guest. Oh my God. It's Rileah Vanderbilt. Oh my God. She's amazing. Okay, so she's an actor, she's a producer, she's a writer, she's a designer, she's a geek, she's a gamer, and she's a unicorn, which makes me really happy. She's also a phenomenal actress. She's been in a lot of different things, but my favorite is she is best known for, or maybe possibly best known as Wonder Woman in Rainfall Films' online short film. And it reached over 4 million views in just a couple of days. And it is still argued as one of the best representations of the character to date. She's also a producing partner behind the popular online production group Team Unicorn. And it basically represents the idea that once upon a time, like unicorns, geek girls were not supposed to exist. How awesome is that? And she also helms Danger Maiden Productions with her partner Claire Grant. If you guys remember that, Claire also did my show, who is amazing. And I would like to say hi to Rileah.
Hi guys.
What's up? Yeah. Is it weird whenever I'm giving you an intro and you have to stay here and listen to me gush all over you? That sounded weird. That sounded like we were in a sexual thing.
You know why it sounds weird? It's because I think most people are so weird about getting compliments in the first place.
Yeah.
So hearing stuff about that, it's like, oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You talk yourself out of it a little bit. So.
Yeah. Well, this is a really important message for all men out there too. Girls love compliments. We also hate them. I hope that helps.
We should love them, and we should just say thank you. That is so nice.
That's
so
really sweet. No, it's always
instead of being like no.
Yeah, it's always weird to hear. It's always weird to hear accolades about yourself, right? Because you're like, I don't know. Can we just say the real
really not
shit?
That cool. You made me sound so much cooler.
You're like for me, if you introduced me, I'd be like, so yeah, she had a massive cocaine problem in her early 20s. She lives in a converted garage in the valley, and she's been wearing the same shirt for the last 3 days.
Hey, I'm the same way with
Krista
my sweats.
Allen. Yeah,
you got me on a good day.
Yeah, no, you look beautiful today.
Oh,
me, on the other hand, let's not go there.
Stop.
Yeah, as we're talking, I'm going to be messing with my microphone. So guys out there listening, you might want to, I wasn't prepared. I just got home. See what's happening here? Okay. So there it is. Look
Yay.
I did it.
You did it. You did something.
Is your microphone okay?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right, cool. So this is what I loved about this book.
Mhm.
Now, I love that he isn't aggressive.
Have we even named the book? Have we told people what the book? I don't know.
Did
if we
I? Oh
have.
my God, I didn't. It's called You're Not That Great, but neither is anyone else.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you for
I was like,
doing
I
that.
feel like we just named him.
Did I
as the
mention that
author.
did I mention that I was ADD?
To me?
Mm.
I think so. I think you said something.
Did I?
Like that. Yeah.
I tell everybody. It's like, if you're a vegan or you do
Mm.
CrossFit, also if you're ADD, you just tell
Yeah.
everyone.
And you have to constantly remind them.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
because, it's like a disclaimer.
Right.
Yeah. So, yes, the book is called You're Not That Great, but neither is anyone else.
Mhm.
And so for me, when I first, do you remember when we were texting and I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely 1,000% against anything I believe in.
It's against everything that I believe in too, because I am all come from the place of a law of attraction and positivity, and let's do those affirmations,
Right.
and the energy you put out, you get back, and if you're not putting out that good energy, then you're not going to get that good energy back. But yeah, this book was kind of a kick in the face a little.
Do you know what it was? This is what I thought about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're also on this path to
Mhm.
just this is like this journey where you just keep evolving and expanding, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for. But I'll tell you this, let's say 5 years ago, if I
Mhm.
would have read this book, it would have really spoke to me in a different way.
Yeah.
I can look at it as an opinion piece
Yeah.
and go, I get it. And it's for people, it's for anybody. But
Mhm.
if you're, like he says in the book, Beyonce doesn't need this book. Well, you know what? I don't necessarily feel like I need it either.
Mhm.
However, what a great different way to look at
Yeah.
it. And he's so articulate and
He
he's
really
really
is.
super honest
I love the honesty about it and how vulnerable he was within the book
with his
and
mom and all
yeah,
of that.
that was
Yeah.
really great. It was the same thing to me, and I think the most profound thing is that a lot of it makes sense. Like a lot of it, I'm like, my positive side that's like, yay, yeah, is like being like, this book sucks. But at the same time, I'm like, but this book makes sense.
It makes sense from the place
Mhm.
where you go, I haven't stepped into the other side
Yeah,
where I go, I can't make anyone responsible for my feelings.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's right before you get to there.
Mm.
And that is look, at any given day, this book could speak to me. I'm definitely not enlightened in any capacity, but I am using the tools that I've been learning because what I realized is certain ways that belief systems. You know what this book is about? It's all about belief systems.
It really is.
And the point where I go and I don't shut down, but I would if I was being judgmental,
right.
would be that it's not talking about, hey, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep thinking this way, then of course you're going to experience this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that happy people are just fake and stuff. I don't think that's true. However, I know that my own fears, which he talks about, basically saying embrace your fears and just
Sit in
go
it.
for it and sit in it.
Yeah. The thing I got out of it was instead of sitting there and being like, you know what, I don't like this feeling. I'm gonna feel a different way. He's like, actually sit in that. Actually know what's shitty about yourself.
Right.
And use that in a positive way, even though it's negative feelings. It's it's the parts of us that we don't like. But he's
Right.
saying, you sit in it. Use it to your advantage rather than letting it like control your entire life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
But now because I guess you have the same thing I
Yeah.
do, where you're on this like, it's like a different way of thinking.
Mhm.
It's a different way of thinking, and it works so much better for me. However,
Yeah.
what I get is if I hadn't sat with the fears,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like to look at this book. It is a great bridge to understanding positive thinking.
Mhm.
Because if I hadn't gone into the darkness, into like
Yeah.
that part and been like, oh my God, there wouldn't have been a need for me to find anything else. And somehow
Yeah.
I did find law of attraction. I did find Abraham Hicks. I
Mhm.
did find all of that stuff. And I went, oh my God, these things really speak to me in a different way. And once I started applying these other things, my life started to change. And I felt better and I was truly
Yay.
happy. However, with the stuff that he's talking about, like he's basically, he's not saying get yourself together, you jerk.
Yeah.
You're never going to amount to anything. What he's doing is, there's the say goodbye to happiness part
That
of
was
whatever
really
that was.
hard for me to read.
Right. But I think it's really important whenever you're going through it. Because here's the thing. Do you know, like, okay, so all of my listeners know that I am literally just starting this like journey, I guess, of really going, how do I want to feel right now? And I know that if I was at a place where I was really sad and I knew nothing about how powerful it is to actually think positive, nobody could ever tell me, ever, just think a better thought. I'd be like, fuck off.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Exactly.
No, this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, right? So the part about say goodbye to happiness, my interpretation for myself and for whatever else is fine. If that's what you need to get to another level,
Yeah.
great. Because I did.
Mhm.
And I said goodbye to happiness and I just kind of allowed everything to come in, and man, I beat myself up so much for so
Yeah.
long. Did you do that ever in your life?
Yeah, I have had moments where you do that, and
You blame yourself or blame the world. That was me. Like
yeah,
my
and
whole
even
entire
though like
life.
I've been, conscious of the law of attraction for a while, but I feel like when you get into some really dark places or things don't go your way for a while, you forget about that stuff. And once you start forgetting about that stuff, then it's so much easier to just be like, that's all crap. Like nothing's working out for me. I was wrong. And it's hard to get yourself back on the path of that. But I do love how his book, it's motivational in the way that if 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 you really want something, go after it. That might mean that you're not happy while you're doing it. But if you give it 100%, even though you're unhappy doing it, even though you're working like 90-hour weeks, even though you're not going on vacations, even though you might actually get to that point where, you get to do what you want to do. And then, like you said, I think then you get to a place where you can be happy,
Yes. Yes. Did you hear all of
Yeah,
my
'cause
alerts go off at the
everything's going
same
up.
time?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I didn't turn off my phone. I'm such a loser.
No.
I'm going to go into the darkness. Fuck happiness. No. Yes. It's so true.
And maybe that's just the way I spend it because, I obviously I've made a narrative for myself with this book being
Yeah.
like, okay, I can be okay with this. I can totally be okay with this. But
Well, because you
I've-
can see it from a different place.
Yeah.
Because you're like, again, this is my new things. My listeners want to probably slap me. You can't, like, don't make anyone responsible for the way you feel, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
This is last week, I'm like, but it's such a big one for me because I've done it for so long. So normally I could read something like this and make him responsible for me being mad that he isn't thinking of it in a different way or something. But what I see in it is a totally different way of thinking. And I love everything that you just said. He's really here's the thing about him. There was a book that I reviewed. What is it? God, the Mark Maron book. Go fuck yourself. I don't know. It was something. I don't know what it was called. I can't even remember. It was
Is
something.
it The Art of Not Giving a
Yes,
Fuck?
that
Is
one.
it that
Yes,
one? Yeah.
yes. Go fuck yourself. That's basically
Go
what that
fuck
book was.
yourself.
But I was so mad at that book when I
Yeah.
reviewed it. It's in my podcast. You guys, if you want to listen to me go off on a book, I was like, this guy is so freaking negative. What's he doing? Filling millennials' head with bullshit because what? And they're just, I was so mad.
Mhm.
And this is not that book.
No.
Because he uses his own experiences and he's incredibly honest. But he's sharing like all of these, his own unfortunate choices and
Yeah.
failings in life and kind of putting it into like a very, it's a
positive negative spin. It's weird because I feel like everything is very positive what he's saying, even though it's coming out of negative,
it's nauseative
nauseative. I like
or
that.
pegative.
Negative. It's
Or
negative.
something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But here's the thing. Okay, so he's like what, 33, 34 years old, something like
so.
that. Like to me, that he's not like he's a man, but he has a way to go. Like, I don't know. And if he's still on this journey and he's still going on this journey, maybe he will find a different way of viewing things
Right.
and write another
Yeah.
book that's like, you know what? You actually are that great. And so is everyone else. That's his next book. But
I loved how he was like, hey, all those gurus out there, all those self-help books that tell you how great you are and how special you are, he's like, fuck all those people.
Right.
He was just like, oh.
Do you know why?
Oh.
And do you know why he's so hard on The Secret? This is the thing, and I agree with this. Okay, so The Secret is a great concept.
Mhm.
I am not a fan of The Secret. I'm not a fan. And why? Because it doesn't tell you how or why. It just says to do.
Yeah, and the universe will provide.
And
that's-
you're like, but I don't
that's
understand.
the
I have
how.
all these thoughts. I'm still a human.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm still a human and I know that like whatever, I'm just learning this. And they're like, no, but if you see yourself in the car every day, but then you have
Yeah.
all these other thoughts and
Yeah.
there's just like so much more going on. And The Secret does not explain that. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was a great success because the message was definitely think a better thought, but it actually didn't explain to you in any capacity how to deal with your human shit and actually apply it on both sides. So you're
Yeah.
constantly straddling like humanity and divine truth.
Feels like it was a really good introduction to the law of attraction, but it
Great.
didn't really go into
It confused
details.
people and it
Exactly.
made a lot of people go, this is stupid. What? I'm just supposed to pretend like this isn't happening and it's not going to.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, actually thinking the better thought is the first step.
Mhm.
And I guess what I was saying before, where he was like, say goodbye to happiness. I think there are tiers to that. So just like, if, I don't know, we'll use something really, whatever, you can't find a parking space
Mhm.
and you're like, there are no parking spaces around here, or whatever it is. Or I know this place, this venue, there's no parking
Yeah.
ever, whatever it is. And you go, and then the better thought is, you know what? I've actually parked at this venue before and got really lucky. Maybe that'll happen again.
Mhm.
That feels a lot freaking better
Right.
than there's not going to be any parking.
Exactly.
Everybody's always an asshole. Drivers are crazy
Yeah.
because those thoughts attract. And then you go and I swear I can contest to this. It happens every
Yeah.
time. There is not one parking space that I won't get. If you're going to be going with me to a concert? Do you want to? Because now it's become a belief system. I'm like, no, it's going to be great. And somehow it does. I don't know. It's true. There is a thing. He says, don't aim to be the best. Just aim to be better. It's okay. I like where he's going in that part too, because he's like, because again, if you try to get from really low, and I say this a lot on my podcast, low vibration, low, that kind of a thing, to high, you're going to throw yourself off in the bushes because you're not going to believe it anyway.
Right.
So if you try to get from, something happened, I just lost my job, I just got whatever it is, and you try to go to, tomorrow I have a great job, nobody's gonna believe that. You can't make yourself believe that.
Yeah.
But if you continue to go up into different levels, it makes it easier. You're like, you know what,
To see it.
I've been here before and I've gotten a great job, and right now I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I believe that something good is coming in because I've done this before and I've gotten through it.
Yeah.
Much better thought than I'm never going to work again.
Right.
And so the whole take on this with saying goodbye to happiness, I think his thing is people that actually, and maybe I don't know, I'm speaking for him. People that I'm speaking for whatever this mentality, which was mine too for a long time, which was, it would drive me insane if I would go to a yoga class and the people there just wanted to hug me and talk about my chakras, and I'd be like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, that makes
You
me super
weirdo.
uncomfortable.
You're such a weirdo, because these are the same people that were banging every girl in the class or whatever it was, or the people that were dicks to the valet, and I'd be like, what is this? And they're like, oh, love. And it's like, so I developed a judgment from that, and that would freak me out too. So the people that were woo-woo, I'm not a big woo-woo person, but I can definitely talk woo-woo.
Yeah. Well, I think too, again, like you said, don't want to put words into his mouth. You really should have him on to talk about his own book. So he'll be like, no, that's not what I meant at all about this.
Well, just so you guys know,
into our own narrative.
Yeah, just so you guys know, Molly is a friend of mine. Molly Quinn is a friend of mine, and this is her boyfriend. And I texted them and they didn't get back to me. So we are saying, me and Rileah are saying that our spin is that they're out of the country.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they don't like you. I don't know.
Or they don't like me.
Which I don't know how that's possible.
I can't make anyone responsible for my feelings. And thank you. So sweet.
You're
welcome. I don't know what the heck. But anyway.
But I think the biggest issue, and I have this issue too, is a lot of people spout a lot of bullshit about spirituality, the universe, all this stuff. But there's not a lot of action behind it.
Oh my God, yes.
And my ex used to say, when I would talk about the law of attraction, he'd roll his eyes and he'd be like, oh, so I just think of a thing really hard and it just appears like magic. He's like, that's bullshit. You know, and I'd be like, no, you have to have doings and you have to have actions. He's like, but that's just me working hard. Like there was like a disconnect between like, yeah, you have to work hard, but if you are in the mindset to receive opportunities and receive certain things, then that road getting there is going to be so much easier and so much more fun. And but I get that, like, because there's been so many people that are just like, yeah, I'm like with my guru and, love and light. And I'm
right.
just like,
and then they're love and light and they're like, I want to kill myself.
I know.
Just did a gram of cocaine and I'm 2 bottles of tequila in, come over. And
Let's
you're
go
like,
to
I thought
Burning
you went
Man
to your,
and do drugs,
I thought you went to your guru. You're like, I'm drinking tea and I'm cool.
So I get it, because I do feel like a lot of people that it's almost like diets, right? People who are like, yeah, I'm on this new fad diet and I'm doing this new thing, and it doesn't work for them because they don't 100% commit, but they still talk about it.
Well, but do you know what's really funny? And this is the truth. So I've been on a journey of self-discovery for a while. I had like a very weird disconnected family growing up. I don't talk to
Mm,
them. I left
yeah.
when I was very young. There were all kinds of things that happened. And that put me into a very strange belief system, lots
Mhm.
of abandonment issues, lots
Yeah.
of things like that. And it lasted like kind of through my entire life, really. And I think there's this place. Wait, what were you just talking about just now? What did you just say?
About
Just the last thing that you said, because I just ADD'd out on you.
about people not really practicing what they preach.
That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I remember now. I was going to say, here's what I did. So a long time ago, so my son is almost 21 years old, okay? Right before I had my kid, I started really getting into mm, what my mom or whoever would call new age woohoo stuff. And I'd be
Mhm.
like, I don't know, but it's really speaking to me. And what I realized is over the course of many years, let's say
Yeah.
15 to 16 years, 20 years, even maybe, who knows, that I had all of this wisdom from the books that I was reading. So I was aware of it. So I
Mhm.
could give the greatest advice to all of my friends. And they would call me because I had like all of this stuff like that I had learned. And somehow it was being regurgitated. But I was aware, but I wasn't acting on the awareness.
I'm the same way.
And
Same way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I started to realize one, my son was looking at me going, dude, your life is a fucking mess. Like this freaking hoobie jooby stuff is weird. Like, don't even like put me next to
Yeah.
it. And not that my son, by the way, ever said that to me, but when I would say things like, here, read the 4 agreements, he'd be like, no.
No. No.
And but all of this information would come into me, and it's not until literally just so recently, and recently because I started to realize that the patterns and the beliefs in my life
Mhm.
just continued to. The same guy kept coming into my life, the same feelings of not being enough or
Mhm.
feeling victimized. That was my thing.
Oh.
Like there was like feeling victimized, but really at the end of the day, every single person I've been with has been wonderful and amazing.
Mhm.
We both have issues being in relationships, and I take the victim role and they take the, what do you call it? The not victim
Yeah, I was
role
like,
or whatever.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. The opposite of victim. No, but I guess. Anyway, so I would like find these relationships because we'd be vibrating at that
Mhm.
place, perfect freaking matches for each other from where we were vibrating
Yeah.
from. And recently, I have realized, God, there's been some things going on in my life where I'm like, this is still happening. It's the same thoughts that I felt before. Now, who's responsible for that? If the common
Mhm.
denominator is that I continue to feel like this, it's my
Yeah.
freaking fault. And I don't mean fault. Let's go a little, it's my solution to find
Right.
is a better way to say it. It's my kind of thing. And so I started jumping into stuff and going, yeah, what is going on with my brain? And I realized that there was a lot of belief systems that were locked in that just weren't even mine to begin with.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of this book with You're Not That Great is a lot about his own belief systems
Mhm.
that maybe haven't been fleshed out as much that
But works for him.
but yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
works because it is a belief system in a more positive way
Mhm.
than
And he
saying I'm a
sticks to it.
victim.
He
Yes.
sticks to it.
And so the vibration is super high.
Mhm.
And that's what I like about the book.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I love it. One of the quotes that I loved in here that he says, regret is powerful. It stays in your body like swallowed gum. Regret just lives in your intestines and bowels till the day you die. And I was like, so freaking
Yeah.
true. Unless you realize that regret is just a story and just a belief and a thought you keep thinking and think a better thought.
Yeah.
If he's listening to this, he's like, I want to murder myself right now.
I know. He's gonna come on and be like, "You ladies are wrong."
No, and I would love
Everything
it
you thought-
I would love to have this talk because I think he is right in the middle of where the guy that you dated that was like, this is bullshit. Like, this
Yeah.
is like whatever. Right in the middle of that.
And I totally understand that point
Me
of
too,
view
because I was there too for a
Yeah.
while, and I would do the same thing, and I was like, this is stupid.
Well, I always think back to like when I was younger, and when I was a teenager. Well, it works both ways. It works with our like new age fancy shit, and it works with this too. So when I grew up in a really small town and didn't have
And that was in Colorado?
in Colorado, yeah. Didn't have a lot of opportunities and stuff, but always knew I wanted to act and always knew I just wanted to be bigger and better than where I was. And so I worked really hard and I put those intentions out into the
You
universe.
did, even as a little girl?
Even as a little girl.
That's
I've always
awesome.
been like, well, I shouldn't say always, but back then I always used to be hyper focused on what I wanted,
That's awesome.
which was great. But one of the reasons I did this, which goes to the book, is because kind of like you, like grew up in a weird family situation, had abusive stepfathers, that sort of thing. And a part of my drive came from the fact that one, I wanted to show them. Two,
Yeah.
like success is like the best revenge. Three, I never wanted to be in the same position as them.
Right.
So, like the book, I was driven by negative aspects in my life to do better.
That's true. You were already there.
So yeah,
Yeah.
with that and with my, like I said, I could hyper focus on things and I knew exactly what I wanted. I kind of used both those things. And I just remember when I was younger, like, everything that I set out to do, I did. All the things that I wanted to happen happened. And then, you kind of grow up and you move and you're on your own and stuff and life gets in the way and you forget how you did that or those feelings and stuff. And then
man,
yeah. And then you just kind of feel like, oh, wow, like those awesome things where I used to be like, oh yeah, this is easy to get. All of a sudden, not so easy to get.
Or
Or doesn't come at all.
And that is a new belief systems that have formed.
Yeah.
You just, I literally, I think I had a dream about this last night.
Really?
Which is really weird. Yes, not this conversation, but this moment. And the moment for me was this. And I remember I left Texas and I was coming out to Los Angeles and I was driving out here and I remember driving and there was a friend that drove with me to Vegas. And then from Vegas to California, I went. But I remember the feeling that I felt driving into Los Angeles. And I had left a shitty relationship. There were things that were going on. And for whatever reason, I was moving to Los Angeles from Texas. My entire family still lives there. Nobody's ever left.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I was coming. And at the time, I didn't even know exactly what I was doing, but something was calling me here. And the feeling, I remember being in my car and Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive, was on the
Oh.
radio. And I was singing, and I remember my whole body was like excited and my heart was racing.
Yeah.
And it was the most exciting feeling. And whatever I was feeling in that moment, I was here maybe a couple of months and things started happening for me. I think that is because something happened and I believed that this is where I needed I needed to do.
You were on your way to your purpose.
Yeah, and there weren't any doubts. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't know I didn't know anybody. I was just like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that it was going to be good. And something happened in that moment where I like broke free from whatever that blanket of shame of Texas at the time, not of Texas. I love Texas, but like of whatever my family issues were.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And it happened really quickly and easily for me too, so rapidly. And it wasn't until I started to, gosh, I guess I got into a relationship, things started happening. I got back into the mindset where I was before, because you know what they say, no matter where you go, there you are. And that includes all of your problems.
Mhm.
Do you know? And I think it only includes all of your beliefs and all of your problems. And some people go, you know what? I'm just going to start over. I'm going to move to this other place and everything's going to be great. But unless you're working on
Yeah.
yourself and you're starting to change
And
the
you-
way that you think,
Yep, exactly.
the same situations are going to happen. And I think maybe at the time when I left Texas, I was pretty young. It was pretty young, but something happened. And I think in that time I was talking talking myself before any of this stuff. And I was like, I want better things or whatever it was
Yeah.
in my head. Anyway, that was a long story to get to the whole point of no matter where you are, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
But
You gotta
whatevs.
kind of change it up.
Yeah, I really got into that story.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a
Now
great
we all know a
story.
little more about you.
So I was just gonna say, like, as far as like what he says in all of this, like my version of this is that we all have a purpose in life, like a journey, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's the comparing of what other people's lives are that gets us all frazzled and thinking that we need to be someone who others deem successful, in order to have a happy life and get all of these grand things that we are supposed to
Mhm.
get. And he talks about a lot of things like, comparing people, Instagram posts and things like that, and looking at stuff and going, is these people aren't real. Like, don't make inspirational quotes if you're not living it. Well, yeah, sure. But you know what? If somebody posts an inspirational quote and it makes them feel better, their life is better and better stuff is coming. And sometimes we post that stuff. I don't know that I post inspirational quotes. I think I used to.
I mean, I guess I get some inspiration from inspirational quotes, but oh my gosh, he is not about the inspirational quotes.
Right,
He's
because-
just like, no,
yeah.
that's a crock of bullshit.
But and that's the part where I'm like, I don't know, because there's sometimes I'll read something, I'll go, you know what, that really does make me feel better.
Mhm.
And I don't look at the other person like, oh, they're trying to do that. They're trying to make me feel like their life is
Mhm.
better or whatever. I totally don't like a lot of the inspirational quote things. They kind of
I mean, some
bug
of it's,
me.
Yeah.
I will make messages. I just made a message the other day on Valentine's Day, and I was like, guys, and I was talking about, like, if you feel like you lost something, how the hell are you ever going to find
oh
it?
yeah, I saw that.
You did?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I did.
Yay. I'm like, did you like it?
Yes, yes, I liked
it. No, but I was like, but there was like these things, and I guess it's an inspirational message, but at the same time, it's more like, oh my God, this is what we do as humans.
Mhm.
Like, we think that things are lost, or we think that things are going on. And a lot of these inspirational quotes come from somebody that has come from exactly the same place of say goodbye to happiness.
Mhm.
And then they found something that worked for them, and they go, wait, I came up with an epiphany and I want to share it with you guys because it's working for me.
Mhm.
That is an inspirational quote. Now, there are people that post these things that are not living that, like the people that are aware of what's going on, but
Mhm.
not acting on the awareness. Fine, still their journey. So there's like a judgment.
Yeah.
And I think that judgment operates a little bit lower, on stuff. And that's
Mhm.
the part that I'm like, I get what he's saying. So many people feel like that.
Yeah.
Nobody likes anybody that like just posts inspirational quotes. It's stupid.
Yeah, I think he's saying, you can be the type of person to turn off, the bad things about yourself and just post inspirational quotes or whatever. Or you can be the person that sits in their shit and then figures it out from there.
Yeah. And
You
then you
know?
figure it out from there. But once you figure out your shit from there,
I think
It's kinda
things will
cool to be of
change.
service.
You evolve. You have to evolve, right?
Yeah.
You can't always be like, well, now I'm successful. Me being successful because I wanted revenge on that person, like, that doesn't work anymore because you already made it. So then, like, what is your drive from there?
Well, and then there's this other that other part that if you do go through something,
Mhm.
think about it. I've said this before, I think. You know, when and I have nothing against Christianity or anything. Obviously, like whatever it is, just be a good person, like
Yeah,
whatever.
agree.
But the born again, like when you become born again, um, for instance, there are people the people in my life even that they just need to talk about it because it has filled
Mhm,
them up so much.
mhm,
And it's what they believe in. Completely, I wouldn't say completely opposite, but definitely the difference between how I am and how you are. And then in terms of Christianity is we're one with that source energy. And Christianity is like, I need to ask you for it.
mhm.
And that's the only difference. And look, I think Jesus was rad. I think God is awesome. There's
Yeah.
like all kinds of stuff with that. But when people find it for the first time, they're so filled up that they want to share it with everyone.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm like Bambi legs. You know what I mean? I'm like, this kind of works for me and I really like it. I want to share it with you because
Yeah,
I
because
see
maybe
my
it'll work
life
for
changing.
you, and then we'll
Same,
all be good people and happy
yes.
people and successful and
Yeah,
yeah.
same with other people that find in any religion,
Mhm.
whatever it is, they're like, "Oh my God," because you're believing in something more than fear.
Yeah.
You're believing in love. And
Yeah.
that's what Jesus is. That's
Yeah.
what the
I
universe
mean,
is.
I
That's
think it's
yeah.
honestly all the same stuff. And I'm an
Yeah.
agnostic where I don't really believe the idea of God for me has to be backed up scientifically by something. And that's why I find that idea of like vibration and energy and stuff, why that stuff works for me, because scientifically, a lot of that stuff can be proven. When you talk about the Big Bang Theory and you talk about all the energy that is ever in the universe happened at that moment, and we're
Right.
all made of the same stuff. Carl Sagan says we're all made of star stuff. We are. We're
Oh my
all
God.
made.
We're mostly non-physical for
I
sure.
know. And so, with that, you have to think about it and that be, wow, we're all connected. We're
Yep.
all made out of the same energy that's been around for billions of years. The law of energy is if you put out a what's the word? Every action gets an equal and opposite
Right.
reaction. And that makes a lot of sense to me,
Well, yeah.
And so therefore I can be like, okay, I can be kind of spiritual and hippy dippy about this stuff because there's a little bit of science behind it. And that makes sense to me. That's proven stuff. Whereas religion, God and stuff, for people that are just like, there's a heaven, there's a hell, there's these strict rules, you got to do all this. I'm like, just be a good person.
Right.
Be an excellent person here on earth. You're going to be just fine.
Right. There are, and I agree. Like
Yeah.
my entire family is very Christian, and
I've got one of those.
yeah, but it's like, but it very, very
Yeah.
much so. And we just decide, if and when on the very rare times that I get to speak with like my dad or whatever
Mm.
it is, which is very not often
Yeah.
at all. But when we do, we don't talk about politics because
You can't.
voted for Trump.
I know my mom did too.
It's okay.
Mm.
And no, and anybody that voted for Trump, it's all good, man. Um, but there is this thing where we just don't talk about it. And it seems, but this is it. This is my theory, or I don't know if it's my theory.
Hypothesis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a better way to put it. Nobody now in this day and age, people are being taught about the non-physical part so much more. And
Mm.
the people, my parents had no access
Mm.
to this world. And so,
Yeah.
and neither did people my age.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents also, they went to military schools, religious schools. This is the thing. A belief system was formed, and there
Yep.
is no other way, very pragmatic way of
Yep.
thinking, and that's all it is. And I get it. So I feel like this is just a new era. It's been going on for a while. It's just starting to really, I guess what it is, it's starting to hit because people are starting to see what is happening, which is why it's growing
Well,
so
there's
rapidly.
more alternatives too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that are not stuck, I don't mean stuck, because if it's working for them, it's working for them.
Right.
But then you also see certain people within a religion where the judgments are so strong. But you also see that with spirituality, like I
Oh,
was
for
saying,
sure.
with the people that are like,
You see that with like CrossFit. You see
yes,
so many things.
vegan,
Oh,
like God,
yeah.
you know,
Everyone
like
gets into their like finds their people and then
liberal,
they think it's
conservative,
the only, yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is. And it's like these groups are formed. And at the end of the day, like I think we're on the same exact page here. Like it's just, I don't know. I know that it's really hard for people sometimes to go. So again, what I love about this book, that You're Not Great, I love about it is that it is definitely a stepping stone and something that I wish that I had read, because I think that by allowing yourself to stay in, it's a very, just like the art of not giving a fuck, it's so Buddhist based, and Buddhist is all about suffering. I've gotten to a place where I do not believe that. I tried to be a Buddhist for a while and
I
I
didn't know
just
that about
wasn't
you.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried. I was like, I think I'm going to be a Buddhist. I think because Brad Pitt had on some beads or something. I was like, he's hot.
Those are cool.
I was like, I don't know.
Those beats go with everything.
Which doesn't that say a lot, is I'm going to do that because that's where he seems like a good person. And it didn't work for me. And then I just kind of surfed through life, but blaming the world.
Yeah.
And blaming myself. And then it was like, get your shit together. Come on.
Yeah.
Are you happy? No? Okay, do something about it. And that's where I've been, on this journey so far. But it's definitely, I think this book is great. There was something that I was thinking about too when he says, don't aim to be the best, just aim to be better. Because we always get so mad at ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, how many people out there like get so angry because we're like, oh, I fucked up again, or oh God.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't try to be the
I
best
think
at
everybody
anything.
has those feelings.
Yeah, like how many times have you sworn off drinking ever again, only to find yourself the next night in a girls' friendly of tequila debauchery, hoping no one takes your picture? Is that just me? No. Okay. But
I think we all have those stories.
No, but like you say, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then the next year, you're like, damn it.
Right.
You know what? Stop being so hard on yourself. And once you stop being so hard on yourself, you're like, oh, okay. Like you start to see these things. What was one of the, out of the things that we talked about? See, I have his book on Kindle. I don't have, Rileah brought the actual hardback.
One of the things that's, like he's saying, just strive to be better.
Yeah.
But he also says mediocrity isn't better. Like if I was to ask you, like, what's your dream life look like? A lot of people would be like, oh, like a modest house and just enough money to pay the bills and put a little bit away here and a little bit away. And he's basically like, fuck that. He's like, have goals, have real goals.
Right.
Don't think of your life in these mediocre terms. Have goals. Like have huge goals and try to reach them. And even if you fall short, you're still going to have a pretty good life at that point.
Well, and can we go into like the law of attraction based thinking here?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I used to be the goal part is where I used to beat myself up. So I would have goals.
Right.
So by the end of the month, my goal is to do this, and I'm going to clean my apartment every day. I'm going to do whatever. I don't know, whatever. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym every single day for 30 days or whatever. I had goals. And then I would not follow
Reach
through with them. And then I would be like, I'm a loser.
Yeah.
I'm
You're a garbage human.
What am I doing? And I will never be able, how do people do this? And my friends would be like, oh no, I went to the gym today. And I'm like, you're an asshole, But so when it goes into the other side, going a step into the woo-woo side,
Mm-hmm.
what I've started to realize is it feels really good when the goals that I'm setting, I already feel are coming in and I
Happening, yeah.
know it. I know that it's coming because it's what I want because I
Mhm.
already know what I don't
Don't want. Exactly.
And I go, oh, no, it's here. It's just waiting for me to vibrationally catch up with that shit so it can attract,
Yeah.
right? I hope this makes sense to any of you out there. And if it doesn't, I'm really sorry. But just keep listening because it's really educational. That was the worst word, educational.
It's
No.
really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
That's
but
not-
isn't it so true though? Like when you think about the way that I used to think, the way that my belief system, my thought process was basically other things have to show up for me and I am waiting. That's what it is. I'm
Mhm.
waiting for something to come in. I'm waiting for that next job. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
that relationship. I'm waiting to get my body in better shape. I'm waiting when, and then all of these things come up and then I
Mhm.
blame that stuff. But if I take each and everything in terms of appreciation,
Yeah.
and it's not woo woo, man. It's not. It's like, what are the better thoughts about what I'm thinking here? So, okay, so let's say it's about a job. And
Mhm.
I go, God, man, I haven't had a job in like 3 months. Easily, I could go into, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ever going to. Maybe
Yeah.
nobody cares. Instead of, I've been really giving the best auditions of my life. Now, it hasn't hit yet. So I think I need to clear some stuff up in there. But I know that the feedback is awesome. Actually, I know that I've never felt more confident. And all of a sudden, I start to get to a
Right.
better
Yeah.
place. And it's not false. There's nothing false about it. I'm not blowing, smoke up my ass.
You're just looking at the situation in a different way.
Instead of looking at it from where I used to,
Right.
which would keep me in the same
Mhm.
place.
Mhm.
But knowing so much that I wanted I wanted to feel better,
Mhm.
but not knowing how to get there. And I think with all of this, he's so articulate. And I actually I adore this book.
Yeah. I
Like,
think I called it an anti self-help book. 'Cause
That's
it
really
is-
funny.
It is a self-help book.
It is.
It's
It
kind of goes
absolutely is.
against all the super positive books.
Do you know what
and-
he's letting you off the hook? He's
Yeah.
like, don't listen to the guru weirdo people. And
Yeah.
The Secret is bullshit. I agree. And all of these
and we're
other
all
things.
fucked up. We're all flawed. We all have our issues. We all have things, and not to compare ourselves to
Right.
the other person because they also have their own baggage that
Right.
they need to deal with.
But when he says things like sit with the pain,
Mhm.
sit with it.
Yeah,
Yes, sit with the freaking pain. Sit with it for a second and then go.
and use it as motivation. Mhm.
Well, use it as motivation, but think of it also as, oh, Jesus, where is this belief system coming from? Because I need to change that.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's that step.
yeah.
I'm going to make an addendum to this book. That step is don't wallow, just sit for a second and go, oh, shit.
Mhm.
And the minute that you get that thing where you're like, yeah, I'm mad that this person, whatever it was, like if someone did something to you or whatever it is, and then you can look at, God, where have I kind of think that everybody's like that. So maybe
Mhm.
there's a belief system that I have that I can't trust anybody. So maybe I can say, you know what? I actually trust a lot of people in my life. There's there's one person in my life I trust. But I can expand that. I don't know. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
It made sense to you, but everybody else has now deleted the podcast.
No, I don't think they did that.
No,
I
they
don't
won't because I'm
know.
flashing my boobies right now. Oh,
No one
wait,
can
you
see
guys
you.
can't see them.
Yeah, I can see them.
Woo!
They're good. They're good, guys.
Yeah,
Hashtag boobs.
but hashtag boobies. That's what should we name this podcast boobies? Like just hashtag
I mean, I feel like
boobies?
you would get a lot of people listening, and then maybe they'd be angry because it's nothing about boobs, except for like right now.
Let's make it about boobs right now. So if you want big boobs, you can manifest them just by thinking, you know what? I've dreamed about big boobs. I think boobs are great. I think I want to get bigger boobs.
Yeah. I mean,
You think that works?
you can manifest bigger boobs. For
I don't want to
sure.
manifest any bigger boobs.
Mine are fine.
I'm
My
good.
mosquito bites are great.
No,
I
you-
love them. Thanks.
You have good boobs.
Thanks.
See, we've
No,
talked about
we are
boobs
talking
now.
about
Wait, let me just feel. Oh, those are nice.
Nice, yeah.
I'm not kidding. No. Okay, so this one more thing that he did talk about, which is that was
Is this
one
the
of
one
things.
about him losing weight? Because I thought that was interesting.
No, but that's a great one too.
I love that story of how he's. Should I say? it?
Yeah.
How he talks about shame.
Yeah.
And he talks, and
That's a
and
great
most
one.
self-help books, tell you, don't be shameful of yourself, don't do these things. And he's like, no, shame yourself. He's like, it is the best motivation. And so his example in the book is he's like, I would be on all these tropical locations doing things. And he was the type of guy because, he was a little chubbier or whatever, he would get into the pool with a t-shirt on. He was that guy.
Mhm.
And he was always very insecure about his body. And one day he just decided, you know what? I'm going to take my shirt off. And so he took his shirt off and even though all his friends, everybody was supportive, no one really cared. Like no one was judging him. He was judging himself.
Right.
It made him realize, oh, I don't like this about myself. But he didn't put his shirt back on. He didn't hide his shame. He displayed it out there for the world to see. And he's like, and it made me be like, I got to do something about that. So every day, like he ran and he ran and he ran for like
And now
5
he's
months.
like super freaking hot.
But yeah, and he
Yeah.
lost like 50 pounds in
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 months, something
Yeah.
like that. And so he says what a great tool shame can be if we don't have the fear to show it.
Yeah, I think that yes. And here's the thing about him.
Mhm.
He's so self-aware,
Yeah, he really is.
but he's not is it Mark Maron that did that book, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
I don't know who it was.
Whatever. He's not
It's in my to read.
He's
list.
not in the
Maybe I should-
negative aspect of it. He's so self-aware and charming in what he's saying. And
Yeah,
this
it
is
all
why
makes
we
sense.
like
It's
it
so relatable
because it's like, oh, I totally get that.
Mhm.
And he's just he's self-aware and he's like, hey, what about this? And I think, certain words like shame and
Mhm.
stuff like that, I mean, that's something I can talk about, but I like to put it in the past. But guess what? You know what? I bet if I was driving down the road and you were behind me and I didn't know it,
Mhm.
and I flipped someone off in the car next to me and then you saw me, I'd totally feel shame. I'd be like, oh God, you just saw me go, fuck you. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed. So there are these things. And then
Yeah.
I go, what can I do to make myself better or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But with like him taking off his shirt and stuff, I think that's great because he basically took personal responsibility
did.
for what he did and went, oh shit, it's not other people judging me, it's me judging myself.
And he used that.
And
which,
he used it in a positive way.
Yeah.
I think this book is so great for anybody that like doesn't that the law of attraction is too woo woo.
Yeah, they're not ready for the
And-
next step. However, they need a positive spin.
Or yeah, whatever works for you. And I think that this book could work for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
Just like don't stay stuck. I'm not into the wallow in the pain
Me
part. I don't think that does anybody any good because you don't feel good when you're doing it.
Mhm.
However, I believe that if I would have gotten this book before, it would have been amazing and like years ago. But basically like the whole idea of this book is it operates on the assumption that happy people are delusional and aren't grounded in reality. And that's the only thing where I'm like, I don't know. Guess what? I'm pretty freaking happy.
Mhm. And you can be happy no matter where you are in life.
And guess what? Who the fuck wants reality?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no,
Mhm.
and I mean that jokingly, but also not. Because I know that what I want to bring into my life, I can't see it, taste it, hear it, touch it. I you know what I mean? I don't know. It's not, but I also know that it's there.
Mhm.
So is it reality? I don't know,
I
but
mean, if it's your
reality's in our
truth,
imagination
right?
anyway,
Yeah,
right?
that's the
Because
thing.
we're like, let's go to Course in Miracles talk here. No, I'm kidding. But there's a lot of
But
stuff.
everybody has their truth,
Yeah.
and everybody has their journey in life. And that is, technically their reality
Yeah.
of how things are. When we
Yep.
pull out our hair because somebody can't see what's right in front of them,
Yeah.
they're seeing it, but they're seeing it in such a different
Yeah.
way. And just because we don't see it the same way doesn't necessarily mean it's a wrong path. It's
Yeah.
just it's a different truth. It's a
Yeah.
different reality.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's true. And I didn't even start on this journey. You've been on it for a little bit
Well,
longer.
I don't think so. So I've wanted I've wanted
So cute. Oh
to
my
be
God.
on it.
Her face, if you could see her face right now.
I was like you. I read those books, The Purpose Driven Life,
And you're like,
all that.
yes, this makes so much sense.
The Secret. It does. It makes so much sense.
It's really fun to talk
But
about.
like changing those
Your
original
own personal
beliefs
stuff. Yeah.
and really like changing your mindset where you're, it's even what you say, like I can't, I wish, I want, instead of like really like there's so much that you have to change that it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last couple years for me personally have been kind of rough. It's like you're a creative, so you know this.
I do.
You work so freaking hard at something, and then finally somebody's like, "Oh, this is great. You've worked really hard on this. I'm gonna give you a cookie." And you're like, "Yeah, finally, I get my cookie." And then you take a bite out of the cookie, and they're like, "Oh wait, we gotta take the cookie away from you."
And you're like, not only that, you said it was chocolate chip. It's
It
just
was
fucking
your
oatmeal.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was your perfect cookie. You take a bite of it, and then they're like, "No,
Well,
you can't have it anymore." And then you just,
yep.
for actors and writers and anyone who's in the industry, I think we're all very used to rejection. And it's something that comes with the job. And it's something that, you can look at and be like, okay, I can be pragmatic about this. I understand that it's coming. I understand. I'm like, you can understand all of it. But sometimes, man, it's just heartbreaking, where you're just like, God, I just keep putting all my time, all my energy into this. And I make something great. And they say, yeah, it's great. And then, yay, we kind of make it. And then they're like, oh, no, we're not making it anymore. And then they take it away. And you're like, but I went up the hill. I did all the stuff at the top of the hill. It's supposed to be easy now, right? And it's never like that. But my point being that sometimes it just gets to you. And so the last year and a half has really been, I don't want to say I've been in a completely negative space, but I've been in a space where before I was very optimistic about things.
Right.
And I feel like the last year and a half, I've been more cynical about things and more down on my luck, kind of.
Yeah.
That mentality, which is not good at all. And so at the end of 2017, also, there's stuff going on in the world that doesn't make anything easier. It's all this stuff that has just been happening lately. But at the end of 2017, I was like, I need to get back to me. Like, I need to spend time on me. I need to really work on the person I want to be, or
the person you are.
Well, yes, but just be happier and be more productive and find my creativity again and all these things.
Yeah.
Which is really strange that you asked me to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
I must have been putting out the vibes.
No, but seriously, it seriously comes to that place where we get to these places in our lives, and everybody goes here, where I do too. My God, there'll be weeks that I'm so positive, and then something will happen and I'll let it take me down, because that's
You're
what
human.
we're here to experience.
Right.
I think that is the meaning of life. I think that contrast is the meaning of life when things are going great. Because look,
you can't
if
learn
I gave
anything from great.
I'm just
stuff.
saying, if you had a fairy godmother that every single thing you wanted was just given to you, wouldn't you be just bored?
Yeah. And
After a while, you'd be like, I'm just bored. Like, I have everything I want.
Yeah.
And so the contrast part, that's why when things happen that are good, and we're like, oh my God, we get excited. We're excited and we see it. But I believe that with being able to catch yourself in those moments, which is the tool that I've been working on the most, being able to recognize when I am in a place, I will go into a rabbit hole
Mm-hmm.
sometimes for days where I am like, I mean, if it's a relationship or whatever, usually it's a relationship, and I will go into like this place where, oh my God, or I'll complain about it and I'll keep beating the drum
Yeah.
of that same story to myself and to other people and making myself a
Mhm.
victim. And that thought attaches to another thought that I'm more of a victim. And
Yeah.
then next thing you know, I'm like, not feeling good about myself. When I can catch it now, which I do now,
Yeah.
and I go, ooh, wait, actually, let me like just lift myself up a little bit here because it doesn't fucking feel good. And I want to be the best person that I can right now. It's not escaping reality.
No.
I've been feeling it, but I go, all right, let me think about this. I
Mhm.
am not at the place where I want to be right now, truth. But you know what? I've been through this before,
Mhm.
and I am confident that things are going to change. It's just going to take a little bit. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I feel better. And I
Yeah.
swear to God, it just feels better. And that's what you're saying when you're
Yep.
like, I've had this year and a half. Me too.
Mhm.
It's what got me here. Thank God. Kind of like the book.
You got to kind of
It's
sit in
the
your shit
same
for a
thing.
while. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to sit in my shit for a while to get to the place where I'm like, I kind of just want to crowbar my heart and soul open right now,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And like, there's nobody that's responsible for my life or what happens. Like,
Yeah.
maybe things were weird or somebody was an asshole or whatever, but that was definitely based on where I was coming from too.
Yeah.
It just made it so much easier to be a victim for me for so
And it
long.
was probably it was protecting you in a way, it was your comfort
Like quote
zone.
unquote, like
Yeah,
we're doing
yeah.
the air quotes with that. I should-
Comfort.
yeah. But it's like uncomfortable. And so you just keep expanding the comfort zone until you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, look, I got all this
me.
space
I'm
before
such
it
a
was just this
victim.
little
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I give this book, I think everybody that
I think it's refreshing, honestly.
yeah,
And
I
the
think everybody that listens to this podcast and like the emails, by the way, you guys, I love your emails so much. And every time you email and every time I get them sent to me, I am so happy because I hear things from you guys out there that are like, this is, I listen to it I listen to it a couple of times a week and it just inspires or it makes me think differently or whatever it is. And honestly, we're all in this together,
Yeah.
like all of us are in this together. And so the people that are finding this is they're kind of maybe on the same path. Some people are like, they just think I'm hot.
I also good boobs. Good boobs.
That was me shaking my boobs.
I think also the great thing about a lot of this is there's so many different aspects, whether it's, gratitude, just being a little more grateful every day. And if you can,
appreciation.
appreciation for things. And so if you can take some of these ideals, and there's a lot of them, so it can seem overwhelming and just like
Mhm.
work on one thing. That's easy enough for anybody to do. To be like, you know what? Okay, I feel
It's
like
a
I'm a negative
choice.
Nancy, and
Yeah.
maybe I'd be less negative if I was more grateful for the things that I had. And and
Yeah.
just do that. Just do that part
I know.
of it.
And it's that thing. If you would have asked me to do this 10 years ago, I would
Yeah.
have been like, shut up.
Yeah, of course I'm grateful.
And or just like what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my son. Like I
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
been like just
I'm grateful for breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you feel like whatever, and
Mhm.
I would have done that. I would have
Mhm.
been like nothing. Like that's what I would have been like, and that's what a lot of people are like. You're like, but I swear, if you really tap into that thing,
Mhm.
and I will add. We have to wrap it up, but I will add this. One of the greatest things too. Do you meditate?
I just started getting into meditation.
Okay, I'm going to send you some stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to send you some
Because
stuff.
I used to think that was just, I didn't understand
God,
why I should do
Nope,
that.
absolutely where you connect and you
Oh
shut
my
your brain
gosh,
off.
yeah.
And this is my advice. When things get shitty
Mhm.
and when things get really hard and when let's say you're in a fight. Are you dating anybody right now?
Yes, a
Okay.
rocket scientist.
Okay. Of course. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So if you guys, let's say you get into an argument and you guys are like, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right,
Mhm.
right. you know what? It's like this. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a nap or I'm going to go
Yeah.
meditate. And I swear, shutting your brain down is the hardest thing to do because as humans, we want to find the solutions.
Mhm.
But sometimes just connecting to that, it resets you in a way that's so great. And people always say it's so hard. I say I'm the worst meditator because I
I'm
don't
pretty
drop
bad,
in.
too.
But it's okay.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
taking that moment,
Mhm.
taking 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes
And
and
not
go,
judging yourself about it.
and just go, you know what?
Because I want to judge myself all the time.
Maybe during this time
Mhm.
my brain's gonna be going, but I'll catch it every once in a while. But I also know that I'm here and not trying to not trying to make affirmations or manifest while you're in the middle of meditation. Because I'll be like, I really want this to happen. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm not even meditating. I'm like forcing
I
it.
actually have to do that right now because if I don't have like
I'm
something
sending you
like
stuff.
I'm successful, like if I'm not like breathing and saying
Yeah.
something at the same time in my head, like all the thoughts
I'm going to
come.
send you stuff.
I haven't
And
gotten
by
to
the
the
way,
point where I
my
can just sit with
listeners
myself.
out there, if you guys email me at imfinewithkristaallen@gmail.com, I'm going to send you, I will personally send you links of some stuff that has worked for me so well and it has helped me so much because I used to just listen to music and then I would like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff that really helped me and it's not, whatever. You'll either like it or you don't. But okay, so where can people find you on social media because they've
yeah.
already fallen in love with you?
Oh, you're sweet. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Rileah Vanderbilt, RileahVanderbilt, and just at Rileah on Twitter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's really super hot too.
Oh,
And she
you're
has
so
nice boobies.
sweet. My boobs.
Wait, what did we say we were gonna? Oh, so on the count of 3, we just go to boobies. Are you ready?
Yeah, totally.
Wait, I'm gonna count backwards though.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Boobies!
Don't go anywhere because I'm sitting with somebody that I want you guys to know about. His name is Jake Lloyd, and he has a really cool podcast.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody about it?
I would love to tell everybody about it. The name of the show is Elaborate, and it is not therapy, but it's not therapy. I sit down every... Wow, that was so smarmy the way I said that. I just
No, I
gave
liked
myself
it.
douche chills.
No, I liked it. It was
In any
good.
case, it's a really fun show where I sit down with creative types, some people I know really well, some people I don't know that well at all, and I just sort of dive into their lives. I learn about them. I learn about why they are, where they come from, and what is wrong with them.
Yeah, you do, because I did your podcast.
You did do a fantastic episode of it.
Thank you. I had so much fun, and we talked about so many deep things.
We did, and I really appreciated how transparent you were because that's sort of the name of the game with my show. Transparency is key.
Like, you know how to get in there. You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? That's what you do, Jake. You get in there.
Well, I'm going to leave it at that. Please check it out at elaboratepod.com. On iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever podcasts are found, you will find Elaborate.
Awesome. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for
talking
having
about
me.
this. All right. See ya.
Bye.
It's Dragon Wagon.